you guys? It's Felicity, and I'm filming my Digitour experience right now. DigiFest experience thingamabob / meeting O2L experience, as you can see by the title. So, I went on June 7th to the New York City show. It was basically in New Jersey though, but I don't know. So, I got there around 10 o'clock. So then we go and wait in the general admissions line, because that's the kind of tickets we have. About midway through the line, this lady comes up to us. She's like, "What kind of tickets do you girls have?" We only have general admission. So she's like, "No, you don't. Now you have VIP." So we start freaking out automatically, and then she hands us our tickets. We're freaking out. She's like, "But just stay in this line. It's easier for us." So we stay in this line, and of course there's going to be the people running to go see who's at the fence, what's going on. So I was the person running. I ran to one fence where I saw JC, Sam, and Connor. We didn't meet them there because they weren't allowed to come to the fence. And then I ran to like this barricade thing near the exit where I met Mikey Murphy again, O'Ryan, Ryan Abe, Jessica Escalosa, and Zach Lilly. So, I talked to them for a second, get a picture, and I immediately get out of there because I did not want to be squished. So, when I'm trying to get out, I start getting squished, but then I squeezed my way out. And then, after that, I ran to the other fence, and I saw Kian. Kian was on his way to come take pictures with us, but rude security literally pushed him off his penny board, saying that it was a safety hazard. Okay, I'm sorry that he wanted to meet his fans. Like, that was just rude. Like, security, I just have to talk about that for a second. Security was literally so rude there. They didn't know how to I guess they didn't know how to handle kids or something. And I don't know, but they were so disrespectful to us. Like, so rude. Like, they didn't even know how to handle us. They were so rude. They just kept on pushing people. I understand that people were pushing and being rude, but like, they injured people because of that. And then the Digi people, besides the one lady that gave us our tickets, I don't know if she was from Digi or not, but she was the only nice one. But so they were just rude. Like, I wouldn't go back to Digi if I wouldn't have gotten backstage to meet people. Like, I'm not planning on going next year. Maybe if there's less people and if it's not in a parking lot where I get second-degree burn on my forehead. Like, you see this? Like, that's the spot that's still sunburned that I got most burnt on. But it's ridiculous. But anyway, sorry, I keep saying but. So I met those little bit of people, and then we finally got into the actual thing, and we go to the second stage, and we see Megan and Travis Beck, and then we take pictures with them when they come out of the fence, and then we go, and I want to go and find my friend Matt. So I go and find him after like 20 minutes of searching for him. I go and I find him, and then after that, he's like, "I didn't get to meet Anthony. He just came out and everything." So I was like, "Oh, I'm sorry. Good luck and everything." And then he was with his friends and I was with mine. So we kind of split. And then I wanted to actually try to meet people. Like, my friends wanted to too, but they wanted to go wait in the meetup lines. And I didn't know when any of the meetups started. So I go against these barricades they had. And it was directly, like, left to the stage. So that's where everybody had to come out to go on to, like, perform. So I'm waiting there. Like, we don't really meet anyone when they're there. I met Kingsley and Trey while I was waiting there. And then I found my friend Gemma. And I'm like, "Hey, Gemma, I missed you and everything." And so then I talked to her for a second, and then she goes back because her and Jake Boys are best friends. So she goes back backstage with Jake. So I DM her like maybe a half hour later. I'm like, Gemma, we haven't met anyone. Can you maybe help me and my friend? So I met up with 3 new girls. I've never met them before. I just met them at Digi, and now we're like best friends. But so I told her me and my friends haven't met anyone. And we paid for VIP. We paid all this money. Well, they did. And I won the ticket. Well, kind of won the ticket. But so I hadn't met anyone. So, and they didn't either. We missed the O2L meetup because we didn't know when it was because Digi didn't hand out schedules for us. So we DM her and she's like, I'll try and I'll see, maybe. So then she comes out with this kid and he had a talent pass. So he could take us back. And she was like, okay, these 4 girls are coming with me and him. So we go back and we start getting like, oh my gosh, this is really happening. So we see first, now this is getting into my experience of meeting O2L. So first we see JC. And we're just like, oh my gosh, there's JC. Like we all went to a different guy at first. So I went to JC first, just because he was right there. So I go up to him and I'm like, hi JC, I love you, can we get a picture? He's like, yeah, of course. So I get a picture with him, and I talk to him for a little bit, and then tell him I was going to be at VidCon. So then I leave JC and I go to Ricky. And I talked to Ricky the most while I was there. I talked to him about 5 to 6 times. Just because I really wanted to, like, Ricky's the nicest. Like, they're all super nice, but Ricky was one of the nicest. Like, he was definitely the nicest. So I go and I talk to Ricky a couple times. The first time I was talking to Ricky, JC was messing around. He was being, like, silly and everything, so he doesn't like that word, but so he was messing around and everything. He's on his penny board squirting me with the water gun, and I was just like, oh my gosh, JC, and he like pulls his glasses down a little bit and he winks, and I just like melt. And then I was like, oh my gosh, freaking out after that for a second, but like inside because I didn't want to get kicked out of like the backstage area. So then I go up to Connor and I hug him, and I'm like, I kind of whisper this in his ear. I'm like, thanks for making my Mondays a lot more fantastic. Because Fantastic Mondays. So I hug him and everything. He's like, oh, that was so cute. I love you too. And so then I get my picture with Connor. And then I was like, I'll see you at VidCon. He's like, oh my gosh, you're going? I can't wait to see you. And then I asked if they were going to Playlist New Jersey. And they said most likely, but he's not sure yet. So then I go up to Ricky again and I get a video from my mom because she says that she's his oldest fangirl, which that makes me laugh. And she says she knows all the words to Ordinary. So maybe one day we can get a video of my mom doing a cover of Ordinary, guys. But yeah. And then after Ricky, I took my pictures with Ricky and we did the crab face and everything. And then I went up to Kian and I was like, hey Kian, I love you. Like basic stuff. And I was like, I'll see you at VidCon. He's like, oh my gosh, it's going to be so much fun. I said, yeah, it is. And then I was like, can we do the Bushka face? So then he goes, Bushka, Bushka. I go, oh my gosh, did he really just do that? And then I did it with him, and then we took our picture. I'm like, I love you, can I have a hug? And they all gave such good hugs, and they all smelled so good. Like, I wasn't surprised about that because I asked my friends that already met them. I said they give good hugs, and they all smell so good. So then, after I met Kian, I saw Trevor again, and he had like just kind of came off stage. So I was like, Trevor, yes, you slayed. And he was like, thanks, Queen. And I was like, died. So I bought the necklace at Digi that said Queen. And then we watched the show from backstage, and then Sam wasn't feeling good, so we hadn't met him yet. He hasn't came off the tour bus at all that day because he was like sleeping, and he had really bad low blood sugar. So he hadn't enough come off the tour bus. He only came off once, and he looked really like tired and cranky, so I didn't really want to bother him. So then he comes out to go on stage, and I didn't really want to bother him there either because I didn't feel like right doing that because he still didn't really feel good. But then he went on stage, and I'm like, okay, I'll ask him for a picture. Oh, I'm sorry. I'll ask him for a picture when he comes off. So when I get ready to go and like I'm looking for him when he comes off, and I don't see him anywhere. So I'm thinking like, oh, they already like rushed him away, like they drove him to the hotel or something. Sorry, that was my cat's tail. He's bothering me right now. But so he comes back out, and my friend Addie was like, okay, please can I get my like picture with him first? So I'm like, yeah, it's cool. Like I didn't mind at all because she wanted to get a video of them hugging. So I let her go, and then I was supposed to go right after her. And then he was supposed to leave. But instead of me, this girl comes out of nowhere and like runs up and takes my spot. I'm like, where'd you come from? I don't know. So then I start getting really depressed because Sam starts walking away. So then Sam knows me from he kind of knows me from my fan account. So I started screaming my username, and I'm like, Sam, Sam, Sam. So he's like, oh my gosh, he hears my username. He turns around real fast. He's like, oh my gosh, I have to go take a picture. I must take a picture with this one last girl. So he comes and he's like, oh my gosh, I know you. And he turns around for a second and he goes, do you want this? And it's the shirt. So if you're wondering what shirt it is, it's just his merchandise shirt, but it's too small for me to actually wear. So I'm gonna go to VidCon and get it and get him to sign it and then frame it. So then I hug him 3 times in the amount of like 4 minutes, and like I talked to him for a second, and I was like, he's my favorite. Like not that I have favoritism, but Sam's done a lot for me in my life. So I talked to him, and I was like, I hope you feel better. He's like, thanks. And I was like, I hope your face doesn't hurt too much. He's like, no, I'll be good. I was like, okay, I love you. I'm sorry for holding you up. He's like, no, it was my pleasure meeting you. And then at that point, like after I started shaking so bad after he walked away, I just like me and my friend Addie, we started crying together. And then I called my mom, and I was like on the phone crying, and she's like, oh my gosh, you met Sam? And I was like, yeah. And then when I got back out to my other friends, because they didn't get to go backstage because I don't know where they went, but I came out and I cried and shaked and was on the floor crying and shaking. And then I realized I hadn't bought any other merch. I hadn't bought any merch. Sam gave me that shirt, which I'm so grateful for. But I went to a merch booth, and they're like, oh, I'm sorry, we're all sold out of the rest of the O2L merch. So I was upset because I wanted to buy 3 shirts. I wanted to buy Ricky's, Kian's, and JC's, and Sam's, but I already had Sam's, so I wouldn't have had to buy it. But yeah. So if you have any questions, you can tweet them to me at my Twitter. It'll be right here. And then I'll insert my pictures now. So if this video wasn't really, I'll do like a separate video of my meeting O2L experience after VidCon. But so this was my video for that. I love you all. Stay beautiful and always stay true to yourself.
Charlie Puth, bitch. Let me tell you about 6 young fellas that really know how to get down. Coast to coast and wide to LA, yeah, they run this in town. I'm talking about JC, Kalen, Connor, Sam, Ricky, Kian, Trevor, Moran. Check yourself before you wreck yourself, cause now you're rocking with the whole damn fam. Oh yeah, that's O2L, but you already know. And if you really don't